Any entrepreneur who takes their business seriously, takes their health seriously, it's not a question of should you do it, you need it. There's going to come a certain point in your life where it's too late. Through investing into this, it was just the one biggest weak link in my chain that once fixed everything else, business-wise, started to take off and had the best business months I've ever had since working with Rue. Because Rue is the most knowledgeable person in this space I've ever come across and met. I can wholeheartedly guarantee you there will be big areas of your life and health, fitness that you're currently missing that you just don't even realize that you are. Hello, my name is Ebrahim. I run a company called Conscious Entrepreneur where I work with mostly online entrepreneurs to help them grow their business whilst leveling up themselves internally. I was actually recommended Rue by a previous housemate called David. David was the most swole German dude you've ever met, who was the most obsessed with training that I'd ever met. And one day he just wouldn't stop going on about the guy he was working with and how he basically knew nothing about training, or at least he thought he knew nothing about training. And as soon as I heard that, a light bulb went off in my head, because this was the person I looked at as having the most authority when it comes to health, fitness, biohacking, anything around that. And he basically told me he knew nothing. So as soon as he said that, I was like, okay, who's this Rue guy that I need to meet? So that was how I originally got introduced to Rue. Before working with Rue, I was honestly physically pretty out of shape. I was a lot lighter. I had multiple injuries in my body. I think I actually had some gut issues as well, low energy. I actually had low testosterone as well before doing some of the stuff. So all in all, just a suboptimal version of myself. Originally, it was just like, let me just deal with these pains that I've got, right? I just wanted to get out of pain. That was what I told him. After 10 minutes of speaking to Rue, after me telling him everything that I'd done to try and fix the problem, he was just like, yeah, cool. We'll do that in a week, but what else, right? And that was where things changed for me, because we then started to not just fix those injuries, which we did instantly after I'd spent years, like I'm talking 5+ years with some of these problems that I had. But then we had to put in a whole plan of how to train properly, really understand nutrition, do it data-driven, right? So blood tests, because if you don't actually have data for what you're doing, you're just guessing, right? Take this supplement because someone said it was good for you, right? But not even knowing if that's actually what you need. I was very much in that state of just trying and honestly wasting a lot of time and money on different things. Through working with Rue, I was able to just get to the facts very, very quickly and then have a very specific plan tailored to me that he designed and his team designed so that I could just follow it and make progress literally every single day. Because I already had some experience, I was like, do I really need this level of in-depth help? That was what was going through my mind. And then as soon as we actually met and had a session together, it was very, very clear that I did need help. I thought I knew what I needed to do, but if I think back to it now, obviously I didn't, because otherwise I wouldn't have had all these issues to work on. For me, that was where I was. And it was just literally just realizing, okay, wait a second, beginner's mindset, let's actually listen and take note. And it was very, very quickly clear, I'm talking within the first 10 minutes, that I had stuff to work on. So that was where I was before coming in. And I think it can be the same for a lot of other guys. Starting to learn what I didn't know helped me to overcome that objection in my mind. From everything else that I saw out there, it was just a fitness coach or a nutrition coach or a biohacking coach. They're all cool, but I didn't necessarily see the value in terms of actually investing into it. The difference from working with Rue was realizing it's not just about getting better at those things, it's how is that limitation stopping me from growing my actual business? And it never clicked to me that there's a huge connection between the engine, aka what's going on here, and business outcomes. I've invested over 100K into self-education, and very little of it, if I do the maths, was actually on health. Maybe I'd have a good gym membership, maybe I'd buy some good food, a few supplements, but it was a tiny proportion. Through investing into this, it was just the one biggest weak link in my chain that once fixed that, everything else business-wise started to take off and had the best business months I've ever had since working with Rue. Unless you are someone who's dedicated 15 years of your life into optimizing your health and fitness, I can wholeheartedly guarantee you there will be big areas of your life and health, fitness that you're currently missing that you just don't even realize that you are. Because Rue is the most knowledgeable person in this space I've ever come across and met. Any entrepreneur who takes their business seriously, takes their health seriously, it's not a question of should you do it, you need it if you're serious about growing your business. Because if you look at what all of the biggest, most successful entrepreneurs in the world are doing, guys like Dana White, president of USC, investing hundreds of thousands of dollars into their health, why are they doing that, right? Because they realize it's the one thing you can't get back. Sure, you can make more money, but if it's at the sacrifice of yourself, there's going to come a certain point in your life where it's too late to go back and get yourself into the right health and state. If you're remotely even the type of person who wants to achieve big things and has big goals, you got to invest into this.